Hey everyone, it's Rob from Hypop and welcome back to another video. In this one, I am unboxing and taking a closer look at a brand new light from Godox. This is the Godox AD600BM Mark II. So I have with me the brand new version of the AD600BM. This is the Mark II version. For those of you that are familiar with Godox's lineup, the AD600BM has been a staple in Godox's range all the way back to its release in 2016. So it's nearing a good 9 years or so that particular flash has been on the market, which is amazing to think about. This one here is the brand new Mark II version, and there have been some updates to this. Godox haven't had a 600 watt battery operated manual flash apart from that one available on the market, and that model has been around for so long that, you know, it's in and out of stock at certain retailers. So this here is a welcome addition to the range to just throw in another flash into the mix, especially if you don't need all the advanced features and you're used to using a manual flash. This is a 600 watt battery operated flash, exactly the same as the previous model. You've even got the same battery and the same charger as the previous model, which is the WB87 and the WC87 as the charger. Let's take a look at what's inside. So the first thing we see is the user guide here. We've got a power cable, and this is for the charger. We've got a flash tube here for the AD600BM. We've got the charger here, and once again, that's the WC87, the charger for the older AD600B and BM. This is the WB87 battery, similar to the older battery. It's the same mount, the same design. We've also got the button here to show the charge, as well as the charge port. The only difference here is that it's a WB87B, so it's like a B version. It's probably a new iteration of this battery here. Specifically, it's 8,940 milliamps, 96.55 watt hours, and it's got a DC rating of 10.8 volts. And of course, the flash unit itself. This is the AD600BM Mark II. So this is the AD600BM Mark II. And as you can see, it actually looks quite familiar in terms of its design and form factor. In fact, it's almost identical to the AD600 Pro and the AD600 Pro Mark II. I'm assuming Godox have done that just to streamline their manufacturing process, because as you can imagine, something as simple as, say, the reflector here, which is this all-in-one Bowen's protector cap as well as a reflector. This is the AD-R9 from Godox, and that's the one that's been used on the AD600 Pro and the AD600 Pro Mark II. So if it's also being used with the newer AD600BM Mark II, I feel like that would be a useful thing for them to be able to manufacture the same parts for 3 different models of lights. The AD600BM, as mentioned, has the same battery. This is the WB87, but once again, this is the 87B, so it's the sort of latest version of this battery. There's a bit of plastic here on the IR sensor. So when you go to mount this, it slides on just like the original did, just like that. Adds a bit of extra weight to the back there. Over here on the front, you've just got that streamlined design, that Bowen's mount. And one crucial factor that they've updated on this particular flash here is that this is a 40 watt LED light. And that is a big improvement from the previous model, which was only 5 watts. So you can see you can actually use this as a continuous lighting source option, especially given the fact that Godox sell lights that are about 30 watts. So you've got like the ML30 Godox LED continuous light. So the fact that you've got a 40 watt LED light source all in this one body with a flash is also a nice addition to have. The other thing here is the flash tube. So this flash tube also looks familiar, and that's because this is the same flash tube from the AD600 Pro and the AD600 Pro Mark II. Once again, likely streamlining the manufacturing and parts process for 3 different models here. Now I've confirmed this with Godox. You're able to interchange those flash tubes because it's producing a 600 watt output light. There's no difference there. The mounting pins are exactly the same. There's those 4 prongs that go straight into here. And that just gets mounted directly on there. So that's the glass protector cover, and then you've got the flash tube on the inside. And that's the reflector, clicked into place, and also the cap too. So what are the upgrades to the previous model of the 8600BM? Firstly is the form factor, obviously being quite similar to the 8600 Pro Mark II and the older 8600 Pro. So you've got some of those updates that have flowed through to the 8600BM Mark II. So when we turn this on, the first thing we'll notice is this thing here, which is the 2.8-inch TFT color screen. And that means that you have the color representation here for the groups, as well as the LEDs on both sides. You've got one on this side and you've also got one on the other side there. So that's the color TFT indicator. So when we go to change the groups on the wireless settings here, you can see the color of the LED actually changes depending on the group, which allows you to identify at sight what group this particular light is in. So it's really useful when you're using multiple flashes. Now, another thing that they've updated is the mount here. So this particular mount is slightly different. I feel like it's better than the older 8600BM mount, which was also a plastic mount. However, it's not as good as the 8600 Pro mounts, which are sort of a low profile metal mount. Another disadvantage of this mount here is that it's actually stepped. So that means it's kind of got a rosette locking feature that locks in each step there as you change, whereas the 8600 Pro has a stepless design, which is a bit easier to control. The 8600 Pro also has a handle, which allows you to tilt everything a little easier. So the stepless tilting, as well as the handle, allow you to kind of fine tune the angle for the 8600 Pro and Pro 2. So if you're having a heavier setup, perhaps you've got a really large softbox on here, like a 120 centimeter or 150 centimeter, it'd likely be a lot easier to use on the 8600 Pro. You'd still be able to do it here, it'd just be a little bit more fiddly or difficult to manage. That also means that this new handle here, although it does give you that sort of additional height, almost enough to wrap your hand around, it does mean that this light is a bit more top heavy and there's a bit more leverage for it to topple over, just because the height is a little taller there, giving this, you know, the chance to potentially topple over depending on the type of stand that you're using. So that's something to be mindful of. Now the handle here on the side, still that same handle, so that's really good. And that handle allows you to lock in. It's the same handle that's used on the 8600 Pro and 8600 Pro Mark II. Now another improvement from the former 8600BM is that the recycle time has improved to 1.9 seconds as opposed to 2.5 seconds at full output for the 8600BM Mark II. The 8600 Pro Mark II has a 0.9 second recycle time, so that's the fastest of them all. However, the improvement is a welcome addition to this new updated model. This is obviously a manual only flash, so that means you don't have any TTL on this flash here. If you're just after the raw output at the most cost-effective price, then this is still the one to go for, keeping in mind this is a battery-operated flash. Now another update they've had is you have a lot more control in terms of output. So you can see you can go as low as 1/512 and you can go in 0.1 stop increments there, all the way up to 1/1, all while showing your flash duration values here at the bottom. So a really familiar system here if you've been using their newer AD Pro range, something that you're able to sort of identify and get used to, you know, in terms of its user friendliness, if you're familiar with and use their gear currently. Now lastly, you also have that new wireless mode here with the wireless sync, and that's compatible with Godox's X3 trigger, and that's the one-touch sync where you don't need to dial in any of the channels or groups. You press the wireless sync and that automatically pairs up to the trigger. So that's a really useful tool to have, especially if you just want to make sure everything is working effectively and you don't want to fiddle around with any of these settings. And if you jump into this menu, it's the latest menu from Godox, and that has all of the features that you'd expect. Changing those wireless settings. You've got photo cells, so you can set this to slave mode if you need to. You've got high-speed sync functionality, and that's when you're pairing it up with the X triggers. Obviously no TTL because this is a manual only flash, but having high-speed sync is also a useful tool to have when using Godox's triggers. And you've got modeling lamp, you can set that to continuous or inter. And you have the beep, so you can turn off the sound, the audible beep as it fires, that beep there. You have the type of output display, so you can go in fractions or decimals. You can go standby mode for the LCD screen, so how long till it goes to sleep or it dims. You have the auto off, so you can do the same with auto off if you need to ensure that it's not draining your battery. That's a useful setting to have. And also brightness of this TFT display, you can increase that in 1% increments. You've got a flash delay too, so you can set a delay on the flash from 0.01 to 30 seconds. You've got masking mode, and this is useful for things like product photography. And you've got language select, reset, and device info. So these lights, they're all firmware updatable. So if Godox update any of the firmware, they usually launch that on the support page on their website, godox.com. And apart from that, I believe the 8600BM is really a nice addition to the range. It's good to see that they're continuing to upgrade some of their older models. It's good to see that they're not superseding them with different accessories. So you can still get that AC pack, the AD-AC, to power this via cable if you need to. You can still use your older WB87 if you still have those. You can still use that old charger if you have those. Or if you have the 8600 Pros, you can still interchange the flash tubes. You can use that reflector if you need to. Obviously, the Bowens mount opens you up to so many different lighting modifiers from Godox's range, the brand new QR T series of softboxes, barn doors, beauty dishes, snoots, the optical snoots as well, the spotlight attachments. So all of that, I feel like that's really handy still, and it's a still useful practical light if you just want that raw output. So that was our unboxing and review of the brand new Godox AD600BM Mark II. For more videos just like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be updated of any new content we release. Leave a like on the video if it's helped you. Feel free to leave down in the comment section below your thoughts, or if you have any questions about the Godox AD600BM Mark II. Follow us on socials, the links are down below, and visit our website, hypop.com.au. Thanks for watching.